Hello everyone, Damo. Yes, this is a vlog. I've been promising them for a while. If you guys don't know, we have been mentioning this for a while. We are going to start vlogging some content, especially poker related. I am starting our vlog, episode 1, in front of my computer screen. You'll be asking, Damien, why? Why have you got your case in here? What is going on? This channel has predominantly been a Football Manager channel. If you're still interested in all my Football Manager content, do not fear. It is always on stream on Twitch. We just got off a live stream, but even better, it means it's time to go play poker. We're going to head to the car and we are going to go and have a chat about what tonight is for vlog number 1 and what the future entails and hopefully how it all goes. In the car, the Navara. Everybody knows that I love the Navara. We talk about it a lot on stream. If you're ever interested in streams, links down below. There will obviously be some poker content on stream at some point because I do like to dabble in the online streets, of course, as well. But more importantly, guys, if you are enjoying the vlog, please give it a like, help support the channel. And secondly, we're new to this, so please get in the comment section down below. Please let me know what you would like to see in terms of hand breakdowns, etc., etc. I'm going to try my best here. I've never done one of these, so let's see how everything goes. In terms of what tonight is going to be all about, is I'm going to a home game. I love my home games. Do dabble in a little bit of cash. Do prefer MTTs, of course. GG's home game is a great place. She's got it up and running, a new joint as well. We've played there a couple times. Quite a nice game, if you know what I mean. Pretty juicy in the 2 free streets there. So we're going to get straight into the 2 free. We're going to be on our way. It's about a 40-minute drive. Game starts at 7 with a flip. $100 flip, which is huge. Got to buy in for 300. That is the goal tonight. I have 1 bullet as a reload. Always do that. After 2 bullets, I generally just call the night with cash. Where with tournaments, I would fire and MTTs and add-ons and reloads, for you name it. But in terms of content going forward, definitely going to go down the route of let's do a vlog when I can. I do start work next week, but I wanted to get a vlog out the way to see what it kind of feels like to do a vlog. I will definitely go probably every hour and a half to, away from the game, pick a spot, sit somewhere. I think at GG's game, we'll probably sit in the car because it's just a car park. There's nothing special because it's a home game. But, maybe when I go out to different places around Adelaide, we'll pick a nice spot, have a bit of a chat, and talk about hands, and then we'll work out what's going to go on there. It may be a case that I do hand reviews on the computer because we can maybe get some software up there and just detail hands. That might be something that I might try as well. But we'll definitely see how we go and talk about some spots. Last thing I am going to mention before we drive is please, down below, there's going to be a link to my poker-related Instagram. And we're going to post every update in terms of tournaments throughout the year there. I've also posted some updates from previous years, which have been on my Instagram, previously on my personal Instagram. I'm just going to separate my Instagram from personal to normal, to poker. And I'm going to use that Instagram to update live about how I'm going in cash events, etc. Talk about games, moments, maybe some big funny moments, etc., as well. One last thing. Got to have a laugh, boys. Look at the buzz cut. It's so bad, eh? Story time with Damo might be a feature of these vlogs. Went to my normal barber. Wanted my normal two on the side, longer through the top. Bit of a, so I can spike it up and do whatever. And he just, second customer in early morning, just grabbed his razor and went to go, okay, not a problem, would make a cut here. And for whatever reason, just went like this through the middle of my hair and then was like, oh my God, I don't know why I did that. And I was like, right. So shaved it all down to a nice little buzz cut. Let me know in the comment section what you think of a buzz cut. I've actually started to grow onto me. It's now been a few days since that, but yeah, at the time, was not thrilled. Now, don't mind it. I can walk out the house, no preparation, just go. It's not too bad at all. All right, off to GG's home game. Great home game. I'll see you guys in a second. Don't go anywhere. All right, here we are at GG's game. Always nice to get in at the mix. We are going to go in there and fire for 300 in the 2 free and no limit streets. I believe there's 2 tables running tonight at this home game as well, so definitely see what the tables are like and hopefully we get drawn a very good one. Usually the games here are not too bad at all. If you ever are interested in getting in a home game, if you live around my part of the woods, please by all means do send me a DM on my Instagram, which will be in the links down below. We're going to be in for 300. Hopefully we're out for a lot more. And let's go and see if we can run up a stack here in GG's home game. So as promised, we've walked to a lovely little park not too far away from where I live, and we're going to do some hand breakdowns here. It's a day after, obviously, a very nice session there at GG's home game. You would have seen the walk in, and I thought to explain why this place. Because it has some really nice intrinsic, for people that know the word, values here. It's a place that my grandparents took me to play when I was a kid, and it's a place that I've always associated with good feelings and good vibes. And I thought, you know what, first vlog, good session. Let's go and recap in a very nice place to where I feel comfortable at. It's a place I don't come to too often. Obviously, it's changed a lot since I was last here. It used to just have a little short fence around, those grey little fences, and definitely plenty of plenty of unsafe playground aspects. Now it's definitely a little bit more modern, which is perfect, but it still holds the same values to me. I think the last time I was here was maybe 12. Always when I've gone for walks or runs or whatever, I've always run past this joint, never come back into it. And I thought, you know what, first vlog, go on a bit of an extended walk, and we'll get into it here. So without further ado, let's get into some hands. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to break the videos up into hand by hand by hand. I think that'll be easier for my editing. And I'm hoping by me filming in this way instead of so, I should be able to put the hands and the boards alongside my face as I talk. That is the plan. I don't know how the editing's going to go. I've never done it. And hopefully you guys can hear me well, because I have got my microphone in with the camera, and hopefully you guys can definitely hear that well enough. All right, let's get into it. All right, hand number 1. We look down at a very nice starting hand. It's pocket queens in the big blind. The UTG straddle is live for $6 as well. There's 5 calls, and you'll come to see that at this 2-3 home game, a lot of people would love to see a flop. So, you can definitely charge a lot of money here. And there's a lot of calls, and there was a few times throughout the night there was a raise to 17, and we had 7 callers pre-flop. And I will say I was calling quite wide, because when the game's like that and we get quite deep, you definitely want to see more flops to try and maximize your win rate. Anyway, we decide on squeezing to $35 pre-flop in a 2-3 game. Yes, there is 5 calls, slightly on the larger side, but yet again, knowing that I've played this game a couple of times and knowing that people love a call, I want to charge them the maximum here with my pocket queens. We do have the queen of hearts, which is important in this as well. You'll see that on the board. And we get 1 call from the button, an older gentleman who I have not played with, but we've only played 5 or 6 hands. In 5 or 6 hands, he's basically played every hand, and he's already down to about $180 effective, according to my $300 big stack, just average, 100 big blind stack. The flop is a nice one for us, but nothing too crazy. It's a jack of clubs with a 10-3 of hearts. I bet $55 on the flop. Not down betting here. Could go even bigger, knowing that he's going to call with all his draws, all his jacks, and I think this opponent, from what I've seen, is going to call with all his 10s as well. And we are obviously going to bet 55 here with the intention of him having about $100 behind to just jam every turn, no matter what it is. He does call, and we are off to a turn, and we see what is not a great card, but is not a bad card either. It's the ace of hearts, so there's 3 hearts now on board. We have the second nut flush draw with queens, with the queen of hearts. I'm not loving the ace on the turn, because if he has a hand like ace 10, which is definitely in his range, where he limp calls ace 10 off, being quite wide and quite very high VPIP pre-flop. Obviously now up against 2 pair. If he does somehow have jack 10, so be it. He's just going to stack off, and we block king queen. So for me, I just have no other option here with the stack to pot ratio, whatever. We rip him for his whole $95 into the pot. We announce all in, and he quickly looks disgusted at the board and folds. So maybe the ace was not a good card. He probably had a jack high hand and was probably going to call turn and call the all-in turn bet with just a pair. I guess maybe he put us on ace X and we fold, and he folds. Look, not complaining. First hand in, pocket queens. It's only the 6th hand of the day, and you know what? It gets better from here. Hand number 2, 2 of 7. There are 7 big hands that we will recap here today with a little bit more, obviously, context than just the 7 hands, of course, as well. And we look down yet again at pocket queens. No straddle. There's been a straddle running in this game. I've tried straddling in the past, and if the game needs a straddle, I will straddle. But this game is playing like super duper aggressive. There's a couple guys I'm targeting. The whole reason this game runs is because there's a few guys that you just like. Well, they're good value for the game. And because of that, I've decided to go against the straddle in this session. So I'm not straddling. Wish we did, obviously, because we have pocket queens yet again in the straddle. We raise it to $10 under the gun, and under the gun +1, immediately to my left, the player that is a reg and has come in and is probably his like second or third hand, or re-clicks me to 20, the min click. Immediately in my head, have some sort of alarm bells that we might be doing this with aces and kings. So you also could be doing it with jacks, and you also could be doing it with like ace king. I just feel like you would flat every other hand as well for 10. And as I said, this game loves a call. There is free cold callers to an under the gun raise and under the gun +1 free bet. Free cold callers of $20. So at the minute, there's $80 dead, as in like dead money. If I figure it correctly, the $20 raise, re-raise, and then the free calls to my $10 raise under the gun. And with that in mind, I'm definitely not folding, and I don't think I can call. Calling here with pocket queens just allows too many people into the flop. You don't like any ace high flop, don't like any king high flop, and, any wet sort of board, yeah, you could get it in against draws and whatever, but we really want to deny that sort of equity with a hand like queens, and probably get it heads up versus under the gun +1, narrow the range down, and, so we can definitely proceed on later streets, knowing exactly not where we stand. It's not a feeler bet. It's more of, okay, let's get this heads up, let's get this with some protection, and if we get a couple calls, because I have seen this in the past, so be it. We're just going to war with pocket queens. So we decide on a sizing of $130 for the 4-bet. We do make it 130. Obviously, we take this down, we make $80 of dead money, so we don't mind. The under the gun +1 player thinks for a little while before folding, and the rest of them fold quickly. The under the gun +1 player then proceeds to throw $1 in to run the board. Board runs out quite dry, and he says, pocket jacks, but I think that would not have been good on a ace high board. And I said, yes, that is correct. It's queen. I had queens. Apart from the ace, nothing else came. So probably if we did get called there, it would have been a very straightforward check sort of situation. I would definitely would have played it like I have a weak made hand. I definitely would have not have c-bet, would have checked, and probably would have called a river bet to just 1 over. And if he has ace x, he just wins a big pot. In the end, don't need to worry about that with our second hand. We 4-bet pocket queens, take down some dead money. And so far, the session is running okay. It's not too bad. The stacks haven't got overly deep yet. I have obviously whiffed some boards in between. And the next hand, though, starts building the stack exactly how we like it. Hand number 3 here at GG's game, and it is what this game embodies sometimes. We get a bit of a fun one here. We get dealt the ace 3 of diamonds in the small blind, and the double straddle is on to 12. We have a player that I'm definitely targeting in the original straddle, and we do have a very loosey-goosey but very good reg in the big blind who has double straddle to 12. There's 3 original callers before it gets to me in the small blind, and we decide to call as well with the ace 3 of diamonds. Definitely don't see no point in squeezing. We can squeeze ace x suited, but we're not. What are we protecting against? Only hands that are better than us or have a lot of equity versus us are going to call our squeeze. So with that said and done, I want to keep the play I'm definitely targeting in the first straddle position under the gun to obviously come into the pot as well. So with this hand here, I think it's a slam dunk. Just call the straddle and intentionally looking to call most squeezes depending on the size. And when I say depending on the size, there was definitely times last night, we're going to talk about a hand where guys would just rip it in here for like $300, 100 big blinds into a pot of like 50 pre. Mental game, this one. Anyhow, it does check through the under the gun and a big blind do complete, and the under the gun +1 straddler who made it $12, the straddle does decide to check. The flop, however, is like in the great words of Andrew Neeme, favourable. It's to say the least. We are in some merch, but not Neeme merch. We are in some Lex Veldhuis, Veld Love merch, because I'm a Lex Veldhuis sub for 52 months. That's correct. Hopefully we will be vlogging at Lex Live next year. However, the flop, though, is quite favourable, like I said. The 5, 6, and king of diamonds. We flop the nut flush. We have an option here. I've definitely done some work and done some study, and especially like if you listen to Jonathan Little, he would probably say to start building a pot right away in weaker games here. I just feel like multi-way, you're not going to get called by anything. You bet the flop here, then bet the turn, they will just give up. So I've decided with a hand so strong as ours, I'm not a big fan of slow playing against against weaker opponents, to say the least, or get in multi-way situations. But with the nuts here, I just don't know what else is going to call us. And if someone has flopped a set in a later position than us, they're going to bet, and we're going to be able to check raise or call and play turns and etc. Or a hand like 8-9 or 7-8 or 7-4 or whatever. Anyhow, we check and the action checks through on the flop. The turn is quite a good card for what I think is a great card for us, because it does complete some draws here. The 7 of hearts comes there, and if someone had like an 8-9 off or an 8-9 suited hand that obviously got a free turn and they made a straight, we're going to win a sizable pot versus them. At the same time though, obviously the pot is quite large, and I do want to make sure a hand like King X with the King of Diamonds or whatever does come along, of course, as well. And obviously 1 pair plus diamond hands come along too. And because of that, I'm not scared really of anything really. I'm going to bet down here, and I bet for $15, trying to get a multi-call situation. Only 2 people call here. It is one of the Under the Gun +1 straddler and the button do call. Not the button, sorry. Middle position call. And obviously with my sizing, I was hoping to get 4 or 5 callers and then play a river, and any safe river, absolutely bomb it. The river, however, is the 5 of hearts, so no more diamonds on the board. The board does pair, and some weird 5-7, 5-6 has just made a boat, King 5, all those sort of hands have made boats. We're not overly scared of them because we would have found out about 2 pair, I think, by now. Someone would have definitely put in a re-raise, and if someone had a set, someone would have probably popped me on the turn as well. So we're pretty confident we have the best hand, but we also know that is probably going to kill some action. I can definitely have 5x in my range, and because of all that said and done, I choose on a small size to just get a call. I choose only $20. It's important to try and pick a size here that I think gets called a very large percentage by weak made hands. And in the end, the original straddler, the Under the Gun +1 hand, does fold before the guy in the middle position shrugs, say, I think it's one of those nights, size, and then calls, and we roll over the ace-3 of diamonds, and he says, you're good, and mucks it. Hand number 4 here, and it's a nice hand, this one. This one here is definitely not standard, and it's a hand that was magical for us on the night, which put us into quite a deep stack. I think at this stage here, we are playing effective with the player that we do get it in with about $500 to $600 effective, so about 200 and something big blinds deep. Pre-flop, we're dealt the 6-4 of hearts, and it folds to me in middle position. Now, definitely in tougher games, I'm folding here, and if I do want to play, I'm definitely raising here. But in this week game, there's a couple players to my left that I'm targeting. I am definitely looking to take a flop, and one of the players I'm targeting is in the small blind. However, I target this guy all night. We don't even play a pot with him all night, which is ludicrous, but it is what it is. Anyhow, we limp, the button limps, the small blind completes, and the big blind obviously checks his option, and the flop comes the free 6-4. The 3 of hearts, we have 6-4 hearts, and the 6-4 of spades. So we're in dreamland here. We obviously flop 2 pair. We do have to worry about, those weird little 7-5 hands that have straights. There's obviously spades on the board, and I'm just going to go, rightio, what are we going to do? Checks to me, and I decide definitely on a bet. Obviously, it's only been lipped around, so I'm going to bet for $10 here for value, obviously. Could size up slightly as well to protect against spade draws and all that, but we need to also get called. So I don't want to make it like $20, $25, over pot, to just to build a pot here. So we bet 10, and the big blind decides when it gets to him and it folds him to check raise me to 25. I obviously flat for $15 more, and we go heads up to a turn, and the turn is the King of Clubs. We obviously then find a lead from the big blind into us being in position of $70. I call relatively quickly. I do think about it for a second, going, what hands does he have? Does he have a weird King 3 hand, like King 3 of spades, or does he? What beats me here? Does he have 7-5 in the big blind? We're just disgusted with it. Obviously, we're not going anywhere, but we obviously know on spade turns and probably 7x, deuce x rivers, we're not loving life with 6-4 here. There's definitely some 5x hands that have a gutty here with other draw as well, and hands like a pair plus a draw. There's a lot the big blind can have here, obviously, and that's probably the worry with obviously just limping along and not raising. However, we're not folding to a $70 raise here. We are definitely going to call. and play a river. As we call, though, the reg, who is a good friend of mine as well, asked me how much are we playing, and I do give him some slight misinformation, not on purpose. In the end, I was wrong by about like $10. I said the stacks are quite close, but I think you cover me just. In the end, it works out when we do see the river and we do get it all in, I actually cover him for $10. So definitely wasn't trying to angle anything like that. Do think it's important because I think it does sway his decision definitely on the river to what he does. The river is a unreal river. It's the 4 of diamonds. We now fill up, and without any hesitation and with absolute delight on my face, the big blind just rips it in for $440 odd, $450 effective, and I'm just like into a pot like 200 something, and we snap call. Yes, we could think about that he hands a hand like kings, right? But I don't think he's slow playing kings. Yes, he could have king 4. Yeah, great, not a problem. What hands does he normally have here? A slow played limped, he just decided to check pocket 3s, which we beat now. He doesn't have pocket 4s because we blocked that. And I think 6s probably would have raised, but he could have 6s, but we blocked that. So unless we've been absolutely cooled by a cool deck of 6s, we've cooled 3s. Spades have missed, and he's just decided to go with a no equity bluff. And I honestly think he doesn't even have 7-5 here. 7-5 would have bet, like $120 folded to all-ins, I reckon, as well. Or just, check call to bet with 7-5, which is the straight here on the paired board. We obviously just snap call and roll over 6-4. Usually I wait for the opponent, but as soon as I snap call, he kind of just looks like, oh God, I've just run into it. And because he's a mate of mine, I just roll over 6-4, boat it up. It's good. He does say to me afterwards that he had pocket 3s. It is one of the hands that I guess goes for value with an all-in on the river because you feel really happy and spades missed. But I also think if it was like the 4 of spades river you jam because, which it can't be, right? But if it was, because then obviously I could have a flush and hero it down for an over bet pot all-in. Obviously, I think when he does this, I do think he has 3s, and when he says 3s, I think it's genuine, but a lot of the time I think this is definitely like ace X of spades that has missed and decided, well, the only one winning this pot is with a bluff, and the only sizing that could work here is an all-in over pot jam, even though it's for like 200 and something. Well, I think for the jam's like 150 something bigs, but into a pot that ends up working to be about like 400 big ones deep, plus, you're just, the only sizing I think's going to work is an all-in. So in the end, he jams. We call. We have 6-4. We hold, obviously, or we maybe got there. I don't know what happens at all here. What a river. And we have now a monster stack. And we continue on into the next hand number 5. Hand number 5 is a hand where we get a heads up against a reg. There's 4 limps and a good reg raises to $13 into 4 limpers. So not a big sizing. Important to say this good reg got absolutely decimated in his first hand. So he only has $150 behind when he does make this raise to 13. I have ace queen off in the small blind. I definitely don't want to flat here out of position and encourage people to flat. So I definitely want to free bet against a smaller stack and then probably get it in on basically every flop, unless it's like super duper horrid. In the end, we do free bet to $38. The small folds around to the small stack in the later position there. I think he's in the cutoff when he makes this raise and then calls my raise of $38. Leaves himself, I think, not too much here. I think it's like $100 or so, not even. It might even been like $75. I haven't noted it in my notes, which is pretty poor from me, my note taking. We obviously go in with that sort of sizing against that sort of like range. You could have any 2 cards that he called with just to get it in with as well. We could even be ahead with ace queen. And if he has a 1 pair hand, we are flipping to a turn and river. And because of that, I'm not folding. The only way I'm winning this pot with a C bet is jamming, because if I C bet small, he just calls his entire range or jams his entire range. And what do? The birds reckon you don't definitely C bet small, because you C bet small when he jams, you just fold ace high. So I rip him in there for just over pot for, I think it was like $78 by memory. 75, 78, could have been 100. In the end, he just snap calls it. And we're off to a turn and river, which goes brick. The board obviously was a jack 9-5, and I believe the turn and river was like a deuce and a board pairing 5 or an 8. I think it was the 8 of clubs, which my notes are telling me, which is good. Got them behind me, obviously. And with that being said and done, he rolls over king jack off. So he obviously flop top pair. We're in good shape pre, and even when we get it all in on the flop, it's basically for less than like 50 bigs. You know, we're flipping. So got to run your flips in cash, definitely. And yeah, we move on to another hand. Hand number 6 is a hand that was defining for the night, of course. It was quite a tough hand as well, because I wasn't too sure, and I'm glad I've done some study in the past because it makes me make a good decision here as well. Anyhow, we are up against, in this hand, against what I perceive as one of the best cash regs in Adelaide. This guy has been grinding a living on top of what he does for work in the cash streets for a very long time. A player I hugely respect, especially in cash games, and was a guy that I would be normally overfolding to, definitely when he raises, especially under the gun, and we're under the gun +1. He's on my immediate right. We've had a few jokes and whatever throughout the night, and a few bit of banter and a bit of chat. But when we get dealt pocket aces, you ain't going anywhere. We have the ace of spades and the ace of, not the ace of spades. It's important we don't have the ace of spades. We have the ace of diamonds and the ace of clubs. He raises to $12 UTG. We re-raise the 30. There is a cold call from late position. I believe it is the cutoff again. And obviously this reg that we're up against is going to call here for the sizing of $30. I do size down slightly here. I do have aces, obviously. I could size up a little bit more, of course, and probably get a call. But we do size down to 30 and we do get a call. The flop is super duper wet. And the flop is the king of spades, the 8 and the 10 of diamonds. Checks to me, and we make it $70, and both players call. So we're off to a turn, and the turn is the 3 of diamonds. And before I'm even thinking about what do I do on this card, because it's a brick, how much do I bet, and insta rip it all in for 312 over bet pot jam from the reg under the gun. Right, tank time, and we tank for a long while. And why do we tank here? It's a wet board. He raised cool, so he has all the 10s in his range. He has all the 8s in his range. He has king 10 suited in his range, and he could even have 10-8 suited as well, right? Because he raised calls. Now, the reason why I say he has 10-8 suited is he probably looks at this game as being quite a soft game for himself, and so he could definitely raise wide to try and just play pots with people. And we're like going, right, what on earth do we do here? We definitely know that our range after squeezing him under the gun +1 is quite strong, and he's ripped into me. At the same time, he could have a hand like ace-king with the ace of spades as well. We don't have the ace of spades, so he knows he has top pair and he blocks nut flush draws as well, and he just wants to charge weaker flush draws the maximum whilst protect against hands like jack 9 suiteds and all that, which the cold caller could obviously have as well. With that all being said and done, there's definitely a lot of hands that he has got in his range that beats us, but there's also hands as well that we do beat. We beat king, we beat king jack of diamonds. We beat, king X of spades, like king queen of spades. We beat a lot of those sort of hands, pair plus draws. Queen jack of spades, queen jack of diamonds. If he wants to turn queen jack of like clubs into an all-in bluff here, which he has an open ender obviously, but queen high, I guess he could do it too. The sizing's got super duper unreal. Like, think about it. If he bets like 150 here as a bluff, we just call. It leaves him half pot behind, and if he bricks, what does he do? Just jams it, we snap off, because it's like pot to size ratio so small. So the rip here from him is absolutely beautiful poker. It's so theoretically a smart. Doesn't matter what hand he has here. Doesn't matter if he has a set here. Doesn't matter if he has 2 pair here. Doesn't matter if he has pair plus draw here. There we are. In the end, we tank for about 4 or 5 minutes, and we tank for a long time. We have a player left to act. I muttered to myself a lot about what it could be, and in the end, because of the study I've done with the ace, with the ace of spades, we fold. But the fact that he could have like ace queen of spades, which obviously has a draw plus a gutty, he could have like ace, ace 8 of spades, which is pair plus draw. You could have ace king with the ace of spades. And with like the king of diamonds, he could have king jack of spades. Sorry, not king jack of spades, king jack of diamonds. He could have king queen of spades, king queen of diamonds, not king queen of spades because the king of spades is on the flop. All those sort of pair plus draw hands, we have to obviously go with it. We are worried about the code caller maybe having like pocket eights or pocket tens. He doesn't have kings, and he doesn't have pocket threes. No one has pocket threes here. So when we do decide to go with it, we have to rip because we do cover the code caller. In the end, we do rip, and the code caller mucks it straight away, holds onto his cards because he says he wants to show it at the river, but he does fold pretty quickly. Sorry, I used his name. Apologies there. I ask him how many times you want to run. I always ask the opponent, especially in big pots, how many times. He's a runner once, man. I'm pretty sure I knew that anyway. And he says, just once, you have aces. I try to make aces or ace queen of spades fold with my sizing before a river comes. The river is the 9 of clubs. He says, you're good. He shows king jack of diamonds, and he folds. Aces are good here. And in the end, the code caller said he would have called the all-in, but against an all-in and my all-in, he folded, and he had 8, 9 of spades. So he would have rivered us both into oblivion with 2 pair because the 9 of clubs came on the river. In the end, though, obviously a very sizable pot to win. Great rip, great jam from a player I hugely respect and a player that I think was definitely, has got a bigger skill set than mine. But the fact that we've done a heap of study over the past year, for those that don't know, we definitely have been studying, MTT courses with Raise Your Edge and some cash videos and webinars that I do have available to myself. In the end, calling off here with the aces without the ace of spades. Aces with spades, I'm telling you right now, we would have tank folded because we do not block, then we block all these pair plus draws that have the front door flush draw, obviously. The fact that we don't block that, the fact that we obviously don't block, we do block ace of diamonds, but it's not the front flush draw, we obviously call off correctly. And we hold against pair plus draw with the king jack of diamonds. I get run down by our pocket aces. Hand number 7, and we get aces again. And this one is pretty straightforward. We raise it to 10 in middle position, 2 players call, and a stack of 170. She's quite short, re-raises to 50. Once she does this, she's leaving herself, $120 behind. Normally here, if you're playing balanced or whatever, you probably have to call a lot of the times here to keep your range wide, and 4-bet with bluffs, and of course 4-bet with aces and kings or whatever. This table is definitely not about balance. A lot of this table is about exploitation. She fired in the free bet without even thinking. She kind of already had it in her hands and still was cold callers. So with that being said and done, I'm not folding here. I just look at it, go, all right, we're all in, and everyone folds, and she snap calls. Straight away, I think I'm up against kings, ace king, queens, or jacks. In the end, the board runs out the 10 of hearts, free 2 of diamonds, the 5 of diamonds on the turn, and she rolls over straight away as the 5 of diamonds on the turn comes over, ace, king of diamonds, the 7 of hearts. So as much as we love aces, and don't worry, I would always take aces every time pre-flop. It's the best hand ever invented. And we had aces and queens twice in these spots. Fortunately, aces get run down here by ace, king of diamonds. Thankfully, it wasn't for like 100 big blinds deep with like $300. Was only for 170 in total. So obviously we can't win every flop and we can't win every hand. So because of all that, we obviously do find a way where we do lose with aces here to ace, king of diamonds. It is what it is. Obviously, we love the spot and we'll run it there every single time against any single stack every time of the day. So that completes the formalities of all the hands that we have played of note. There is a hand that I am going to speak about here quickly. That was the reason why we decided to get up off the table. Normally, especially with a player that I was targeting having a lot of chips, and we'll explain how he got his chips as well, because it's quite a fun story. We normally would sit there all night and grind it out. However, I want to speak about something that I do struggle with a little bit, and it's called upstuck. Upstuck means when you're up a ton, but then you lose a pot, and then you're always chasing to get back to that stage. I've struggled with it in my past. It's definitely a leak of mine and definitely a tilting factor of mine. So I've tried in the past and definitely going to try definitely in the future to, when I notice that arise, to just get up, leave the game, and see how we're going to go. In the end, we raise a hand under the gun with ace queen with the ace of diamonds to 10, flop, small blind, big blind calls and the button calls as well. And the flop is the queen of diamonds, the 10 of diamonds, and the 2 of hearts. So we flop top pair, top kicker, we go backdoor diamonds, and we raise the $25. And in the end, we get a call from the button before the big blind just decides to rip it in there for $240, which is a massive overbet. It's the same guy that we beat with the 6-4 against what he said was pocket threes. Good player. And my immediate reaction was obviously, we have the ace of diamonds, we block flush draws, we block the nut flush draws, so he's not jamming them. He's probably jamming weaker queens and draws, weaker draws, like weaker diamond draws, jack 9, all those sort of stuff. So I think we're good here. It makes no sense for him to jam 10s or 2s because he obviously wants to keep the action available. He could probably check raise to 75, 80 and then play a bigger pot that way. If he just rips it here, off you go. 2 factors make my decision making here. First factor is I was going to call originally, and he says, GG, just get some chips ready because I reckon I'm going to go broke here. And his second factor is, come on, Damien, you know, you have got plenty there, mate. And I was like, is he baiting me into a call with a table talk? And I've got a player left behind him, and the guy just calls on the button. He has more 10s and he has more deuces than I do. I do have 10s a lot as well, but I'm so weighted to aces, kings, ace, queen, you know, a continuation bet of ace, king, you know, ace 10 even, all those sort of stuff. So with that being said and done, and knowing that there's play left to act, I talked myself into a fold because of the table talk and the fact that I could be up against a set on the button. In the end, the button makes an outrageous call. He snap calls with the ace 7 of spades. And in the end, the other player had the jack 10, jack 9, sorry, with 1 diamond. Yeah, the jack of diamonds, I reckon the 9 of hearts by memory. So we were good. In the end, the board bricks out with a 5 of diamond 10, which would have given me the nut flush draw, and a 7 of heart river, and ace 7 called with a... He said in the end, I'll block the straight outs with your king jack, and I block obviously some 7-8 combinations that might just want to be getting in as well, and some 7-9 combinations, etc. And I was like, wow, if that's your read and that's what you've done, what a player. There you go. Massive. Kudos to you, mate, with calling with ace high there and you're correctly. Straight away, obviously, immediate regret that's definitely not a fold. I don't, even for the sizing and the table talk, you just got to call off there. You have ace queen, and like we said with the aces hand without the spades, we have the diamond here. If I had ace queen with no diamond, I could understand folding to that large size, but the fact we block the nut flush draws that he could just rip it in here with, we have to call off here knowing that it's more open-ended straight draws, weak pairs, you know, like king queen, queen jack. You know, yeah, sometimes you're up against queen 10, you just cry. But yeah, and obviously it would have been nice as well to, you know, do whatever as well. But yeah, we obviously fold. Massive mistake. I think also, by the way, in this part of the vlog, I'm sorry that this is way too wordy. I did say the wrong turn and river. The turn was definitely the queen of hearts, I reckon, as well. So I would have turned trips, and the river was the deuce of diamonds. So yeah, I obviously read out the 5 of diamonds, 7 of hearts from the hand before with the aces where we lost with like ace king. So apologies with that. It was definitely the queen of hearts and the deuce of diamonds. So we would have turned trips and held against jack 9 and the ace 7, which would not have called if we obviously have just called here too. Important to note, we were also playing like, you know, I have a stack of 1-1 and the guy down the other end had about like $850, $900 on the button. So if we go call when he jams, what do? We call off or we fold, whatever. And yeah, just weird spot. Definitely should be a call. But, you know, you can't play it well all the time. In the end, we do cash out the game for, like I said, $1,190. Do tip my dealer $30. Important to know, I always tip my dealer after big pots as well. Always tip them like $5, $10, whatever. It's important for them to make a living, A, and B, they help run the game and they do an amazing job. So always do tip your dealers. Second thing is the player that was definitely the guy we're targeting had a hand here. And this is the sort of stuff that was happening on the table where he would get up to get a drink of scotch or whatever. And before he would come down, he would be like, raise, no look, $16, right? So yeah, there you go, right? And in this hand here, he goes to sit down and the cards have been dealt. They're there. There's action here. There's already been a fold in the hand. And he goes, imagine if I went no look all in. And we're like, right, what are you over? And he goes, yeah, no look all in. And because he says that, that's binding. So it folds to me in middle position. He's on the button here and he's verbally said no look all in. So the action to me is only $3, but it will be in someone's left act and then him. a verbal announce of all in. So the chips are in the middle. There's an all in button, an ounce of turn, $634, no look all in. And we look down at ace 5 of clubs. There's definitely going to be some people out here that tells me that any ace X is an all in here, even for 200 something big blinds effective. And we know this guy's wild. In the end, I tanked for a long while. Obviously, the play is just to call $3 because then the obviously $634 stand and we just snap it off. We fold with the ace 5 of clubs. Let me know what you would have done in that situation. In the end, a guy with like $150 or whatever just calls him off. And the guy had no look, had king 10 off on an ace high board, which he turned to king on. We would have won that pot, obviously. But without being results orientated, I think your range there, there's one of two ways. You either run every edge you have, so every ace high is a call suited or unsuited, or you probably think our thought in the end is just like, you are flipping, so you want to like eliminate some of the hands that do have some equity against you. So I think you call like ace jack off, ace 10 suited, and then better, and you call in like pocket 6s or 7s plus, and you just fold all your 5s and downwards, because then you're flipping and you maybe cover one of the two cards, obviously. So like, because he has king 10, if we're calling like ace 10 suited and king and ace jack better, we're blocking the fact that he has two live cards. So that's how I thought about it. In the end, we folded ace 5 of clubs, but we tanked for about a minute and we were this close to just going, you know what, I've got a 1.1k stack in front of me. I probably should just hero this off. I'm telling you right now, if I had less than $300 in my stack, which is less than 100 bigs, I would have just called it off. I would have just called $3, called it off and said, you know what, flip it, because at least then we can either get 200 big blinds or then do a rebuy. But in the end, wasn't needed. We did cash out from the $300 buy-in for $1,190, minus a tip, obviously, of course, as well. And from Damo, that is going to be the end of this vlog. That is correct. There we go. It's in the lovely little parkland that I am in here. Thank you for watching vlog number 1. If you did enjoy it, give it a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Vlog number 2 is going to be a $100 tournament that we are going to play at the casino later on tonight, of course, as well. And with that all being said and done, please let me know in the comment section down below, how would you improve the vlog? What else would you do different? And, you know, any other information that you want to pass on to me. Is there stuff you would have done different in this game, of course, as well? More than happy to listen to feedback, reply to comments, of course, as well. But from Damo, there we are. If you want to stay up to date, Instagram, Twitch, all that sort of stuff, links in the description below. See you next time for vlog number 2. Not the end of the vlog, but nearly there, guys. I thought I would just mention rewatching the vlog and doing the editing. It's taken me quite a few hours, but very enjoyable. Definitely one major improvement we need to do is note every pot and the pot size of it, because I think that we also get a little lost recapping exactly how the action's gone after watching it all back. So I'll definitely take that on board for myself, but please in the comment section, do let me know. I can't stress it enough, what you'd like to see as an improvement next time around. Obviously, I'll have to learn maybe how to make all this sort of stuff a little bit better, not as wordy, but hopefully you can follow along as well. Second thing I will mention before the comments come in, because I can already see it. Damien, you played 7 hands, you won like 6. How did you not have more than 1.1k in your stack? You got to remember that I was targeting certain players at the table, so the pots that don't make it, like, you know, we limp in for $3 of like any pocket pair, they raise to like $40 pre-flop. You do call with like a massively monster stack at the table, because you know if you hit your set, you're just going to win like $300, $400. And if you miss, you just lose 40. When you do that quite a number of times, though, you do waste probably, and I probably wasted like a couple $100, trying to chase certain players in the pots. Something that maybe we can look at not doing. Also something that I think is super profitable when you do hit your hands as well. But yeah, so obviously those hands don't make the vlog because there's not much really to talk about. Apart from that, we're targeting people, so that's why the stack was 1,190. I think I topped out at about like 1.4k as well. There's also a hand where I make a full house, but I think it was just super standard that we just check, call, check, give him rope, and he fold, and he just checked back on the river. That, as much as that pot was probably for a couple of hundred, really standard, doesn't make the vlog as well. Our stack for a long time in this vlog does fluctuate between the realms of like $850 to about 1.4k, anyway into there. So a lot of the time, when we've won a hand here, we've been up to like, 850, 900, back to 1.3, losing all in. Down to like 1-1, hence why we ended up at 1-1. Thought I'll clarify that at the end of the vlog. Look, this is it. This is done. I do see the time of it. It's going to be about a 45-minute vlog, First vlog in. Hopefully you enjoy it. It's a little wordy. Definitely for vlog 2 and future vlogs, we're going to look to condense it a little bit more. My target time's about half an hour. We'll see how we go. Anyway, from Damo, see you next time. Thank you, and give it a like, subscribe.